Greetings, everyone. So, I just wanted to talk about some basic things tonight. Today was supposed to be more restful, but as you guys know, what is that old saying? The best laid plans often go astray. I did rest a little bit, like it was more slow paced than usual, but for a few reasons, I had to rush. And I think next time when I do my food prep, I'm going to make sure I have whatever I want to prep, like maybe a few days before chemo instead of the day before. That was bad planning. Even though it's easy to make, it's just that's one more time-consuming thing that you have to think about doing. And then I was just putting food away, making sure everything is at arm's length, because I know 2 days after chemo, and oftentimes longer than that, I'm not feeling well, because this is going to be my second infusion. And as I've said before, I think that I'm getting Red Devil. I haven't looked into it because I don't like to over-research, because when you over-research, you can get your mind all worked up, and then you can go down a negative road, and I don't want to do that. So it's amazing when you go through things and challenges in life, especially a serious health challenge like I'm going through. It changes the perspective on a lot of things. And you guys should know by now I'm a very optimistic person. Yet it does make you think about things. I'm a person that doesn't like chemicals. And furthermore, my body rejects 99.9% of chemicals. So just wanted to touch base and not be condescending or completely self-absorbed, but I just wanted to share a few of my thoughts about what I'm going through, and then a few thoughts about life itself, just a kind of bougie thinking, or more metaphysical, spiritual, things like that. So I'm going to be hitting the hay soon, doing some stretching, finishing up my mesquite chicken, which smells amazing, and going to cook up some oven roasted squash. I wish I could say it was from my garden, but it wasn't. I leave out tomorrow early in the morning, and then allegedly my chemo is supposed to last 4 hours. So when you go to chemo, whether you're going by yourself or you're lucky enough to have a supportive husband or family members, because that absolutely is the ideal situation, there's a lot of prepping involved. The best thing to do is have your chemo bag ready, and which I do, but there's still things to do. Like, to me, I noticed that today the food prep, even though it was an easy meal to prepare, it just was kind of time consuming. And I wished I would have had the chicken in the freezer, and then I could have just had that done this morning. So without going all the things, all about all the things to put in your chemo bag, you guys can go watch other videos. But what I put in mine is phone charger, tablet, download two movies. I think I'm going to watch Bridges over Madison County tomorrow. Book, that's what I pack, a book. Snacks. Nausea lozenges. Nausea bracelets, as recommended from, can't think of her name right now. There's a really great channel that I like to get information from. She's a triple negative breast cancer survivor. Anyhow, blanket, you have to have a blanket. And I got a really nice one on Amazon for $19.99 that was recommended by another breast cancer survivor. And water, they supply, well, at my hospital, they supply water and some snacks. But I'm trying to eat healthier. I mean, I do like a cookie now and then, but I'm just trying to eat more organic, etc. So I guess I'll parlay into more of the thoughts that I've been having about life in general. And I had a conversation with a stage 4 lung cancer patient who was terminal. She's a little older than me. And she was very nice. The doctors are just trying to give her as much time as they can. Which, of course, makes me think. It's a real eye-opener when you go through this. And I had survived thyroid cancer when I was a young woman. And I personally think that's why I didn't conceive. Well, there were doctors had thought I did conceive a few times, but anyhow, that was a whole different ballgame than what I'm going through now. And the staff of the hospital, the cancer center where I go, they're quite amazing. They're very professional and the best in the business as far as these things go. And I'm so grateful for them. And they're very delighted to have me. I'm one of their favorite patients. And the reason for this is I always try my best to be as optimistic as I can be. It's not to say that I'm not going to have tough days, because I will. The nausea and the digestive issues has been rough. And the digestive is something I've been dealing with for a while, but the chemo just magnified it. And anyways, back to the lady that I was talking about with the stage 4 terminal cancer. Really nice lady. I ventured to guess she was a smoker, but, I didn't ask her all that. But it was one thing we did agree on was when you get the diagnosis, it changes everything. It really does. I've always been, let's see. Once I discovered the law of attraction on the Oprah Winfrey television show and watched the movie The Secret, bought the book, watched the movie The Secret over 200 times, and then delved more into the Hermetic principles that's where the law of attraction comes from. And everything that you're seeing throughout the world right now, I'm generalizing, but, all the diabolical evil, the 4 horses from the Bible, which is written, it's basically a mind control program. And it always plays out. And where I was going with this is the dark occultist, they're quite evil entities. I don't like to even call them people or individuals. And honestly, who knows what's in their DNA? And we're all mixed up anyways, but I know for a fact I have a lot of Celtic and Viking. I've got it in the records. So okay, I was talking about the inversions. And anyways, this just magnifies how you see things in the world, and you realize a lot of the things that people worry about or complain about or get all upset about, it's not worth it. And granted, you hear this a lot anyways. And we're susceptible to worry and doubt. I am. Even though I know law of attraction is real. Nothing makes you more focused on what is important in life than to go through a serious life-threatening illness. And mine is, I didn't really want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it now. It's stage 3. And that's based on the size of the masses. but through all of the doctors and the nurses and the people that they work with this all the time. And the type of cancer that I have is called invasive ductal, which is the most common breast cancer. And to my knowledge, it's very much more treatable than some. And my prognosis is very, very positive. And, talking to that nice lady, she's probably a boomer. She was really cool. I love a lot of the boomers. Like, there's just something special about a lot of the boomers. Not the narcissist boomers, but, that would go for any generation. But I tend to be able to relate to them very well. I always have. I was always, and I've been told this my entire life. Of course, now I'm older myself. But as a young person, I would always have elder people say, you're an old soul, you're an old soul, you're an old soul. I had pastors telling me this. I don't think it was gaslighting. I think it was legit. But again, too, that happens when people don't have the easiest life. And in my tragedies and trauma in my life have not even been remotely close to what some people have been through. Even remotely close. But again, it's why I advocate for children. It's why I advocate for people that are victims of either sexual violence, degradation, abuse, narcissism, and what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Oh, that word. When a whole entire culture is denigrated. I can't think of the word right now. Anyhow, it makes you have like a real clear focus when you go through this. And one thing that I've done my best to not fall into for a long time, and of course I'm not always successful. I don't know when it came to me that I'm not a victim. That is something a lot of us go through. But you have to take the tragedies and the sadnesses that you go through, turn your pain into power, in a sense. Not that everyone wants to have pain. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication. And I most definitely don't have it all figured out. But one thing that I know for sure, based on my history and what I've been through in my life, is I won't have anyone degrade me, put me down, minimize me, talk badly about me, whatever it is. Now, I don't mean constructive criticism. But anyways, again, I'm trying to stay on topic. And I've said this from day one, since I've gone through this, because I've had, and don't try to send handlers for me, Scientology. It won't work. It won't work. Or anyone that has any ideas, it won't work. But what I was going to say is, you just become more clear. If you're more spiritual based and more, how do I explain it? I don't know. It's real general to say that, but more spiritual in nature. The way I believe is that there's far more to the universe than just what we see with the physical eye. And I don't subscribe to a dogmatic main religion, but that's where I, as a child, originated in Catholicism, and I was in Pentecostal church. Yes, believe it or not. I even tried going to other different religions because I never adopted them, but I was spiritually searching for it, And then at a certain point, I'm like, to me, it was all a bunch of baloney. But I feel like the only religion that I would really get a lot of wisdom from was Buddhism. And I do feel that the Holy Bible has a lot of real gems to learn from. A lot, because they were basically little stories. I mean, I'm not a biblical scholar in any shape or form, but anyhow, going through this, it's like everything becomes magnified. And it doesn't mean that you don't have any fear. Once in a blue, I get a little tiny fear. It doesn't happen to me much, though. I think something's a little bit broken or off in me sometimes, but not that I'm going to do something cruel or harmful, but I mean, why would you want to waste your life being afraid of everything? You know what I mean? That's, to me, that's a waste of your energy. I mean, it doesn't mean that sometimes fear doesn't help to save your life. That can be a good thing, you know? But I just look around me, and even in the internet world, and I see certain individuals focusing on certain things, and I think, geez, why are you looking over here when, you know, if you're advocating for abused children, why are you talking about all these things? You know, like, I'm just making a general statement, and that seems like a waste of energy to me. And, you know, like I said, I go for chemo tomorrow. So even though I'm the most optimistic person in the world, it's already been shown to me that I was quite ill the first 2 or 3 days. And the following week was an on and off situation because it does attack your red and your white blood cells. And like along with the bad stuff. But it will return at some point. I'm scheduled for 6 chemo infusions every 3 weeks. So my hair's been I did cut it really short. I didn't really want to do that, to be honest. But I have been having a lot of like serious shedding in my hair. So I'm kind of thinking it'll probably happen. And I'm as prepared as I can be. I have another wig I'm going to purchase. And then I'll have a total of 4 wigs. I don't even know if I'm going to like them. But I've got a lot of scarves and beanie caps and all that good stuff. Having like your hair cut really short is a different ballgame than not having any hair. So anyhow, to me, I was telling this grocery store clerk, real sweet gal, she was shocked when she saw my short hair, and I told her, I'm going through chemo. And she was like really taken aback. And I said, it's very treatable, don't worry. Because some people like me, and it was just, I could tell she was pretty shocked. And I was trying to tell her, it's very treatable and it's a positive. But I told her this is the least problematic for me is losing the hair. It's the nausea and the lethargy. That's the hard part for me. And as I said, the digestive issues, which I'm trying to get a hold of. But when you go through chemo, depending on what kind of chemo you're going through, the doctors and the pharmacist, is it pharmacist? Yeah. They go through, like I showed them I wrote down all of my supplements, every single one of them. And then, of course, I forgot some, and then I had to come back. And he went through all the list of what I was taking, and probably 90% I can't take. Anyways, you guys, I had to go take my mesquite chicken out. Man, it tastes good. So, I guess not all people will have the same kinds of what am I using? Like epiphanies or realizations when they go through a life-threatening illness. And of course, you have a lot of people that want to say, don't do this, don't do this. I understand it. But ultimately, In many ways, you're the captain of your own ship. So as much as I like holistic and natural and organic, I love it. I love it. You know, I'm going with this. And when I get through it, I'll be able to detox and all of that. And I would tell any woman out there, no matter what your age is, all of these so-called high-risk factors that go into getting breast cancer, I didn't meet any of them. Not only genetically, no women in my family had it. I didn't hit the age. It was 55 or over. I didn't hit that. What was the other one? Anyways, there's like 8 or 9 of them. One is, I believe, if you had given birth to a child, I think. You guys will have to go look at it. I happen to believe that mine probably was induced through the environment somehow. But anyhow, you know, we're surrounded by carcinogens, and as much as I've tried to alleviate them. You know, if you eat a fruit or a vegetable that does have pesticides, I mean, it can be so many things. None of the women in my family ever had this. Lucky me, right? But I think somehow this is part of my life journey. And when I got the diagnosis, the first thing I thought is like, this is how I'm going to go out. That's really what I thought of, you know. Because back in the 70s, this was a death sentence. And I would tell any woman that is afraid that she has it, or whatever your situation is, please get checked and get the treatment. I know that's up to you to decide, but it can save your life and render you more years of life to spend with your husband or your family, to get healthy and have a prosperous, beautiful life. So, yeah, I'm trying to think any more profound things I was thinking of. I don't know. I've just been focused on living a higher vibrational life for a long time. Not that I don't get low vibration when I see child abuse, because you guys know, but that's not my set point. Like Abraham Hicks, if you guys have ever listened to Abraham Hicks is a bunch of channeled entities that go through Esther Hicks. I do like to listen to them sometimes, but I've always been the one looking for a very long time. It didn't come overnight. Looking at what's the positive in this, what can I learn from this, even when things are really rough. And I have bad moments. I do. You know, none of us are here on the planet forever. And the sooner we would realize that, the faster we would start living a life that we want to live. And that is what my goal is, without getting too much into details. You know, that's all I want to do. Like, I think most people, you just want to live a happy life, have enough abundance to create some wealth. And that's not something I get an A+ in, but, you know, there's so many ways you can carve out a beautiful, loving, generous, abundant life. And you have to just do some soul searching and decide what it is you want. Is it time that's valuable to you? Because if you're a Scientologist and you're working 18, 19-hour days and you never see your children, that's not an abundant life. And the planet is not being cleared, just so you know. So that's it, you guys. I don't want this to get too long. I hope you could benefit from some of my thoughts. Have a good day or night, wherever you are. Peace.